Morning, dear student. In the previous class, we have discussed about the some brief history about India, Pakistan, and China, and its neighbor, or we can say India and its neighboring big economies, that is Pakistan and China. Now, let's in today's class we are going to discuss about the comparative study of India, China, and Pakistan. First of all, let us discuss the some of the demographic indicators. Now, remember, my dear student, demography is related with the population. If any data related with the its population is called the demography. Now, you can see in the table 10.1. Now, estimated population in million, India having 1311 million, and China having 1371 million of the population, Pakistan only having the 188 million people. Now, another indicator is annual growth rate of the population. All the data are of 2015. You will find India having the population annual growth of 1.2, China having the least 0.5, and Pakistan having 2.1. Density per square kilometer, India having the highest and the lowest each in China, being a fifth largest country in the world. India 441 per person per square kilometer, China 146 persons per square kilometer, and Pakistan having 245. And sex ratio of the females per thousand male. The worst condition is of India, that is 929, and the 941 of China, and similarly Pakistan having the 947. Fertility rate. Now, what is the fertility rate? The fertility rate is the rate which is calculated the number of children born by a woman in the age of 15 to 45 years on average is called the fertility rate. Or we can say in India, an average woman give birth to near about 2.3 children in his age. Similarly, 1.6 in China, and the highest in Pakistan, that is near about 4, 3.7. Urbanization. Now, in India, you will find that 33% of the population lives in urban areas, whereas in China, you will find 56, more than half, and the better condition than India is in Pakistan according to 2015. Now, the after 5 years, or the scenario may have been changed during this 5 or 6 years of the time. Now, here same information is given. Now, growth indicator, you will go in the next table, annual growth of GDP. Let us compare the annual growth of GDP, table 10.2. India having the in 1980 to 90, in this decade, India got the 5.7% growth of the GDP per annum. China having 10.3, and Pakistan was better than us 6.3. If we compare the 2011 to 15, the condition of India is improving 6.7, China is reducing 7.4, the Pakistan condition is also reduced 6.3 to 4. Now, this is the now let us China was having double digit growth during the 80 and 90. Pakistan growth rate was 6.3, better than us. We are talking about 1980 and 90, and India was at the bottom. During 11 and 15, there was a drastic fall in China's growth rate from 10.3% to 7.9. Pakistan also met with a drastic decline in growth rate from 6.3 to 4%, but India is able to achieve the growth rate more than that. Now, one thing, listen carefully, my dear student. The coming days are worse for China and Pakistan, but the coming days are brighter for India. Why I am saying this? Due to this origination of COVID in China, whole of the world community is angry with the China. Similarly, Pakistan have converted its economy to the terrorist economy or service sector economy. Due to this, the image of the Pakistan also, you can say the Pakistan's economy is in the worst condition from 1947. Now this is the worst condition which the Pakistan is facing. So definitely this sign will be shown in the both, and a bright days are brighter for India because India have gained the good reputation among the international society. For that I want to say. Now another one is sectoral contribution. Let us sector, we have the GDP, after we have the three sector: primary, secondary and tertiary, which is known as agriculture, industry and service sector. Now if we study table 10.3, study about the sectoral growth. uh, Now India agriculture sector gives only 17%, and the industry sector that gives 30%, and the service sector 53%. China agriculture sector gives 9% only, 43% is given by industry, secondary sector, sorry, and 48% is given by tertiary sector, that is 48%. Pakistan, 25% of the GDP comes from the agriculture sector, 21% comes from the secondary or industrial sector, and 54. You will find 53 and 54% of the GDP of the India and the Pakistan comes from the service sector. Remember, I have discussed this matter in many classes in front of you. So what we will find, this pattern you will find in the all of the SAARC region, either it's a Nepal or it's a Bangladesh, it's a Bhutan, Nepal, or even Myanmar, and even Maldives and the region. Now distribution of workforce. India's 50% workforce works in agriculture sector, 21% in the industrial sector, and 29% in the tertiary sector. China having only 28% in agriculture sector, 29% in industrial sector, and 43% in the service sector. Pakistan having 43% in agriculture sector, 23% workforce on secondary sector, and 34% on the tertiary sector. Now you will find India and Pakistan more reliably depends upon the agriculture sector than the China only having the 28%. All the three countries near about contributes 21, 29 and the 23 near about same. You see service sector 43% China contributes the China's workforce work in the service sector. Now come to the agriculture and the primary sector. Due to in China, due to demographic and climatic condition, the area suitable for the cultivation is just about 10%. It's a total area. That's why now you will be surprising only 28% of the workforce work in the agriculture sector, because the only 10% land of the China is suitable for the agriculture, whereas the total cultivatable area accounts for the 40% of cultivatable areas in India. In India we have the near about 40 or 50%. That I have told you many times, India is a such country which having the highest net sown area. Till 1980, more than 80% of its population was dependent on farming as their sole source of livelihood in China. Since then, government encouraged people to leave their fields and pursue other activities such as the handicraft, commerce and transport. We are talking about China. As a result, proportion of workforce shifted to agriculture, and which reduced the agriculture sector to 28%, and with a contribution to GDP at a 9% in India. Now let us discuss about the India. Though you know the condition of India, the contribution of agriculture to GDP was 17%, The proportion of workforce engaged in agriculture was 50%, half of the population engaged in agriculture sector. In Pakistan, the contribution of agriculture to GDP was same as 25%, but the proportion of workforce engaged in agriculture was 43%, less than 7% than us, which have the 50% than us. Industrial sector, let's say, contribution to GDP. China manufacturing and service sector contribute the highest to GDP, that is 43 and 48%, and whereas India and in respect to India and Pakistan, it is service sector which contribute the highest. I have told you 50% of the GDP. In China, secondary and tertiary sector contribute to 43% as China. These were the conclusion. Now what we can conclude that both of us, India and Pakistan, is now also we are mostly depend on the agriculture. That is one boon as well as the curse. Similarly, but we have to engage our population in the agriculture sector more. In the last tomorrow's lesson, we will discuss about the some human development indicators. Then we will evaluate the development strategy of the all three countries. Then we will conclude this chapter and your course will be finished. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you and nice day ahead.